So in this lesson, we're going to be ordering integers, and it could be either least to greatest or greatest to least. That's usually a question. And what I have on my notes here says to order integers, you need to place them either least to greatest or greatest to least in their real value. And what I mean by real value, let's have a highlighter here. What I mean by the real value here is what is it truly worth? Okay, because as you can see down here in my example, I have a few absolute values, and then I have an opposite sign right here too. So I want their real value. What is it really worth after I evaluate the absolute value right here or the opposite issue? So for my example, how I wanted to describe this to the students was go through first and list what the real value is of each integer below it. All right, so this is the absolute value of -3, which is worth a +3. 1 is just 1. -2 is just a -2. And then negative, or the opposite of the absolute value of 5 is a -5. Okay? So now I have their real values. I just need to order them from least, we're going to do this one, least to greatest here. All right. Well, in order to do that, I need to figure out what is the smallest number that is in red here, the real value. And I figure out that's -5. But here's the little catch. I can't just write -5 because that's not the original number. I need to write the original number, which happened to be an opposite of the absolute value of 5. So that's why I wrote it right below. It's very easy to follow here. So opposite absolute value of 5. I used it. I'm just going to get rid of it. Next, my lowest number is -2, which originally was a -2. That was easy. Next, I have a 1 or a 3. So 1 is the smallest, which is, again, originally just a 1. And then finally, I'm left with just the 3, which was originally an absolute value of -3. And that is my answer. They are ordered least to greatest as S. Get that cord out of there. All right. We'll do another example. Do A and C. Once again, I'm going to go through. Absolute value of -4 is worth a 4. 1 is worth a 1. -2 is worth a -2. And then a opposite of the absolute value of 1 is worth a -1. And I just go through, okay, what's the smallest number? -2. Okay, -2 was originally a -2. All right, I used it, get rid of it. Next, I have a -1, all right, because that's smaller than these two, which was originally an opposite of the absolute value of 1. And then I have a 1, which was a 1. And finally, a 4, which was originally an opposite, or an absolute value of the -4. Okay, and that's my answer for that. And then we have down here for letter C, the directions are different. This one needs to be greatest to least, so the biggest to the smallest. So once again, I'm going to do the same thing. We have absolute value of -8 is 8. That's a 3. That's a -5. Opposite of the absolute value of -6. Well, this ends up being inside a +6, but the opposite of that is a -6 again. All right, greatest to least. 8 is the biggest. Get rid of it. But, hold on, I wrote an 8, but it's an absolute value of -8. Then, see, sometimes when you do it too quickly, that happens. Then it's a 3, which was originally a 3. Then it's a -5, which was a -5. Running off the page here. And finally, I have the opposite of the absolute value of -6. And that's it for ordering. That's all I have for my answers.